Hi, and welcome to Just the Good Stuff core class. This is an hour-long class, and we're going to need a foam roller at the end, do a little bit of rolling, and then a block or something to squeeze between your knees. Like you could use a Gertie ball or even the foam roller if you don't have other implements. You could just use that for during our bridges. I think that's about it. Please make sure that you have checked with a medical provider and that you're all cleared to do some pretty basic core work. It's pretty gentle. You can modify, and I'll kind of talk you through ways to modify as needed. But just make sure you've got the all clear to do this work. Obviously, you're not in a class. You're doing this from home, so you just need to be really cognizant of taking care of yourself, paying attention to your body, making sure that you're not doing anything that is hurting you. Okay, so let's head down onto our backs. Have your block nearby. We're not going to need the roller till the end, but have your block nearby. I'm going to come onto your back. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. We're just going to relax everything down into the floor. So just letting your low back be in neutral, right? So just kind of this relaxed position on the floor. We're just going to take a couple breaths here. So take a nice big inhale, expanding your rib cage and your belly. And then you're going to exhale, letting everything sink down into the floor. A couple more breaths like this. Big inhale. And exhaling. Seeing if you can't just sort of let all of that tension go for this first part. One more big inhale. And exhaling. Good. And then bring your attention to your low back. You're going to keep your low back in this neutral position. So we're not going to change the shape of your low back. You can take an inhale. On the exhale, pull your belly in around your spine. So like that corset wrapping around your waist. You're going to pull that belly in. Hold there as you inhale, breathing into your rib cage. And then exhale, see if you can't tighten up your abdominals a little bit more. You're going to hold this for a couple more breaths. Belly's pulled in. Breathe into your ribs. And then as you exhale, maybe you try to draw that belly in just a little bit more. And check in with your neck and shoulders. See if you can't keep the tension out of your neck and shoulders. Hold here. One more breath. Inhaling. And exhale. And then we're going to shift into flat back. So you take an inhale, exhale, pull that low back down towards the floor. So you come into a posterior tilt. Your tailbone will lift up just a little bit. We're going to hold here for a couple breaths. Inhaling, breathing into your rib cage. Exhale, belly's pulling down towards the floor. So imagine like you have an anchor on the inside of your belly button. It's dropping down towards the floor. The other piece is, can you not push into your feet to get into this position? So gentle through your feet. See if you can't just use your abdominals to be pulling down towards the floor. Hold here, one more breath, inhaling. And then exhale, trace your tailbone back down to neutral. So low back is in neutral again. You're going to inhale, exhale, pull that belly in around your spine, staying in neutral. We're going to go for zero motion at your low back so it stays completely stable. Float your right leg into tabletop. Left leg comes up to meet it. Belly's pulled in around your spine. Toes gently pointed. We're going to start to tap one toe to the floor, then the other. Keeping completely stable in this low back and pelvis. So we're just looking to dissociate our hip from our pelvis, right? My low back and pelvis are completely stable. And I'm just moving from my hip, hinging, belly's pulled in. Breathing, keeping the tension out of your neck and shoulders. Maybe shake your head around a little bit. Let's do a couple more here. Good, you're going to pause in tabletop. Flex your feet, pull your toes back towards you. Now we're going to tap one heel to the floor, then the other. And if this is ever too much on your back or anything, you can either press your low back into flat back, a little more protected, or you can not go down as far. Maybe you only move halfway with your leg. Just do what you need to do for your body. Couple more. Good. Pull those knees in towards your chest for just a second. Relax. And we're going to do our knee push or isometric. So you bring those legs back up. They're a little bit closer than 90 degrees, right? So they come a little bit closer in towards your chest. You pull your toes back towards you. Hands are going to come to the fronts of your thighs. You're going to slowly start to press your hands into your legs. Don't let your legs move. So it's an isometric. You're trying to push your legs away, but you're not letting them move at all. Belly pulling in around your spine. Again, try to keep the tension out of your neck and shoulders. It's a prolonged hold. You're just breathing here. Maybe as things really start to warm up, you can push just a little bit harder. You might be shaking a little bit. That's okay. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those knees in again. I'm going to do one more variation on that. Then again, come back up. Knees, again, a little bit closer than 90 degrees. You're going to crisscross your hands. So your hands go to your opposite thigh. Toes are pulling back towards you. Same thing. Start to push into your legs. And just sort of push on the diagonal of where you find your arm, right? So you're sort of pushing on a diagonal, but don't let your legs move. Holding here. This gets a little bit more of your inner thigh, of your obliques. Breathing. Again, check in with your neck and shoulders. Holding. Prolonged hold. Just matching your resistance. You're not really trying to like shove really hard, right? You're just getting your abs to work. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, bring those knees in, and then you're going to bring them back down to the floor, hip distance apart. We're going to go into our upper abs just a little bit. So you're going to interlace your hands behind your head. We're going to do this next set in flat back, right? So you take an inhale, exhale, go ahead and press that low back down towards the floor, shifting into that posterior pelvic tilt. Now we're going to take an inhale here, exhale, come up into your upper abdominal curl. So your head is really heavy in your hands. You want about the space of an apricot underneath your chin. You're lifting up around your sternum. You're pulling that belly down towards the floor, holding. Take an inhale here, exhale, come back down. Same thing, inhale, exhale, up you go. Head is heavy in your hands, belly pulling down towards the floor. Nice and lifted, inhaling, exhale, come back down. Again, inhale, exhale, up you go. We're going to add some little pulses. Nice and lifted. We're going to pulse, lifting up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, belly's dropping. 3, 2, 1, lowering back down. Inhaling, exhale, up you go. Head is heavy. Same thing. We're going to pulse, lifting for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lowering down. Inhale, exhale, up you go. Same exact thing. We're going to pulse for 8, 7, 6. Don't crank on your neck. 4, 3, lifting from your upper abs. 1, and come back down. We're going to add our leg to the last 2. So here we go. Inhaling, exhale, up you go. Head is heavy. You're going to float your right leg into tabletop. And then we're going to pulse from here, lifting 8, 7, belly's dropping. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lowering down. Whew. Inhale, exhale, up you go. Head is heavy. Left leg comes up into tabletop. Here we go, pulsing. 8, 7, 6, from your belly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely, come down. Okay, last one. We're going to do both legs together. Here we go. Inhale, exhale. Up you go. Upper ab curl. One leg comes up, then the other. Knees are squeezing. Low back's pressing down towards the floor. Here we go. Everything's lifting, coming up, crunching for 8, 7. Belly's dropping. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, abs. Okay. You're going to grab your block or whatever you're squeezing in between your knees. You can use your foam roller. You could use a ball. You could use a rolled up towel. Something in between your knees. The idea is that your hips, knees, and ankles are all in a line with each other when you're squeezing. So don't have something that's super wide or super skinny. So you want to be like hip distance apart. So you're in your bridge position, hands are down by your side. Let's take an inhale, exhale, start to squeeze inner thighs. So you're just going to start to pull in around that block, waking up that center line. Good, take an inhale here, exhale, press that low back down towards the floor. Keep squeezing inner thighs. And then you're going to press your feet into the floor, floating up into a bridge. So you're just going to lift up. So the bridge we're doing, we're aiming to be a straight line from your armpit down through your knee. So you're just a nice straight line. We're just going to mentally sort of work through our body, neck and shoulders. Stay nice and relaxed. Belly's pulled in around your spine. You're going to pull pubic bone towards your rib cage. So you're kind of closing down the front part of your body, lengthening your low back, squeezing those inner thighs. Feet are nice and grounded. Take an inhale, exhale, drop your sternum, lowering down. Think of sending that tailbone away as you roll all the way down. Big inhale at the bottom, exhale, belly pulls in, flattening out your low back, press back up into your bridge. Back of your neck, nice and long, shoulders relaxed, belly's pulled in, pubic bone pulling toward your rib cage. You should feel your glutes kick in more when you do that, when you tuck your pelvis. Here we go, we're gonna pulse those knees. So you're gonna squeeze that block, squeezing for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold the squeeze. So keep it squeezed. We're going to pulse our pelvis up towards the ceiling. Little pulses for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rolling back down. Big inhale at the bottom. Exhale. Here we go. Pressing that low back down towards the floor, lifting up into your bridge. Neck and shoulders relaxed. Belly's pulled in, pubic bone pulling towards your rib cage. Here we go. Pulse those knees together. First 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold here. Lift the pelvis up. Little pulses. First 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering back down. Good, again, big inhale, exhale, squeeze inner thighs, pressing back up. Back of your neck, nice and long, shoulders relaxed, belly's pulled in, pubic bone pulling towards your rib cage. Here we go, pulse those knees together for 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold the squeeze, lift the pelvis up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rolling back down. We have one more set. Big inhale at the bottom, exhale, squeezing inner thighs, press back up. Back of your neck, long shoulders relaxed, pubic bone pulling towards your rib cage as you close down the front of that body. Here we go. Squeeze those knees together for 4, 3, 2. Hold the squeeze. Keep squeezing. Lift the pelvis up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Rolling back down. Go ahead and take the block out. Set it aside. You're going to walk your feet together and your knees together. So everything is zipped up in the center. Imagine you have a piece of paper in between your knees. So you're squeezing that piece of paper, really engaged. I'm going to take an inhale here. Exhale, pressing up into your bridge. This is the last one. So you're going to lift all the way up into that bridge, still trying to apply the same thing. Neck and shoulders relaxed, pubic bone pulling towards your rib cage, inner thighs squeezing. You're gripping that piece of paper. You try to keep these hips lifted. We're going to add a little bit of an isometric. You're going to pull your heels towards your butt. Don't actually move them. You're just trying to drag your body towards your heel. We're engaging those hamstrings for a second. Keep your hips lifted. Keep inner thighs glued together. We're going to switch. You're going to push into your feet. So you're trying to push your body up towards your head. Keep your hips lifted. Keep your inner thighs squeezing. 3, 2, 1. Come back down. Whew. Oh, goodness. All right, let's stretch our hamstrings a little bit. So go ahead and grab on behind that right thigh. Take that leg up towards the ceiling. You're going to point and flex that right ankle. Your left leg can either be bent or you can take it out straight, whichever feels better. You can circle that right ankle around one direction and then the other. Breathing. You can take that right leg and internally rotate it and then come across your body a little bit to get a little bit more of that outer hamstring, IT band, outer hip. Keep pulling that toe towards you. Your heels reaching away. Back of your neck is nice and long. Take a couple more breaths. You can sort of play with where this leg needs to be. Maybe go out to the side a little bit. Maybe just come back to center. Just sort of sussing out what's tight in that hamstring. One more breath. And then we're going to switch legs. Grab on behind that left leg. Again, right leg can either be straight or bent. Pointing and flexing this left ankle, maybe circling it around one direction then the other. Breathing. You can internally rotate that hip and bring it across your body a little bit. Go out to the side. Just maybe experiment for these last couple of breaths. Lovely. And then you're going to make your way over onto all fours. We're just going to do a cat-cow or two. So you're going to be on all fours, hands underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips. We're just going to work our way through some cat-cow. Take a big inhale, exhale. Rounding everything, pressing everything up towards the ceiling. Big inhale here, exhale, reversing it. So just let yourself go through this motion. You can certainly add some side bending and some rotation. Whatever feels good, just really let yourself be in your body. Try to breathe into any areas that feel sticky. Don't push into any pain. No sharp pain, right? Sometimes if it's a little bit of a stretch, You can certainly work into that. Let's do one more big breath each direction. Sort of loosening things up, always paying attention to some sticky spots, right? Maybe those need attention later when you're rolling. All right, so you're gonna come to neutral, flat like a table. So we're just gonna do a little bit of what I call push-up plus. So here, we're not doing any bending of our spine. Your spine's gonna stay completely straight. Your elbows stay straight. You're gonna let your shoulder blades sink together. So I let my sternum and my head drop down, but I keep my head in line with my spine. And then you're gonna press back up towards the ceiling with that sternum and your head. Lowering down and lifting up. So simply moving your shoulder blades on your rib cage, right? So you're just letting your shoulder blades slide. You keep those elbows straight. You're lowering and lifting nice and controlled. This really works those scapular stabilizers around your shoulder blade. Let's do 2 more. Lowering and lifting. Lower and lift. Good. So you're going to stay at the top now. Anytime you're in an all fours position, you don't want to be hanging out in between those shoulder blades. You want to stay lifted. So you stay lifted in between those shoulder blades. Now I want you to imagine that you have a wall on the outside of your right hip. You're already up against that wall. You're not going to let your hips shift at all. Take your left leg straight out. Opposite arm goes out. I want you to see how still you can be in this position. Try to be a statue. Belly's pulled in. You're pressing up in between those shoulder blades. You're at the top of that range of motion we just did. Your belly pulling in to support that left side of your low back, that left glute, squeezing. Breathing, holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering back down. Back in neutral, lift it in between your shoulder blades. Now that wall is on the outside of your left hip. You're not going to let them shift off to the left. You take your right leg straight out. Opposite arm goes out. Holding here. See how still you can be. Pressing up away from the floor. So you're pressing into that right hand. Sternum stays lifted. Back of your neck nice and long. Right glute squeezing. Right side of your belly pulling in. 3, 2, 1. Come down. Let's sit back for a second. Just get off your wrists. Roll them around. We're going to do one more set of those, but we're going to add motion of your leg, just your leg. So when we do this, when we get out into this position, we're just simply going to hinge at the hip. So we're going to try to move this leg in and out, but I don't want you rounding your back, right? This is just like we were doing in the beginning where your pelvis is dissociated from your hip, right? So here we go. In your all fours position, press it in between your shoulder blades. Again, imagine that wall outside of your right hip. Don't let them shift to the right. You take your left leg out. Opposite arm goes out. Find your stability here. Belly's pulled in. Just the left leg. Here we go. It comes in and out. In and out. See how still you can be in the rest of your body. And out. Even if you can only move a couple inches maybe, it's going to challenge your stability. 4 more. And out. 3. Belly. 2. So much harder than it seems. Last one. And out. Whew, and come down. Oh, goodness. All right. Pressed up in between your shoulder blades. Belly's pulled in. Wall is on the outside of your left hip. Don't let them shift. Right leg goes out. Opposite arm goes out. Find your stability. Here we go. Right leg comes in and out. 2 and out. 3. Stay lifted in between your shoulder blades. Check yourself that you're not sinking down. 4 and out. Belly's engaged. 5 and out. Okay, 3 more. 6. 2 more. 7. Last one, 8. And out. Beautiful. Again, sit back. Get off your wrists. You sit back, child's pose. Roll your wrists around. So now we're going to do what I call a little mini push-up. It's just a tiny little push-up, but it's super effective. So this one, you're going to imagine that the wall is now right behind your butt. So when you do this, we're not shifting our hips back at all. They're already up against a wall. You're lifted in between your shoulder blades. You're in your all fours position. You're just going to bend. We're doing a little triceps first. You're going to bend those elbows. They go straight back towards your thighs. You keep them tucked in by your body, and then you press back up. So we're just going to do little guys. You can go down as far as you feel like you can. We're going to go for 8. Here we go. You dip down, slow and control, and press back up. I'm just hinging at the hip. I dip, my elbows tucked in by my side, and up. Lower, and lift. 4, belly gently engaged, and lift. 5, and lift. Keep those elbows glued in by your side. 6, 2 more. 7, and lift. Try not to sink down in between your shoulder blades. And lift. Beautiful. Sit back for a sec. Whew. Shake them out. Super effective. Small little motions. So this one, we're going to just turn our hands in towards each other a little bit. We're going to angle them in. So this is the same thing, but our elbows are going to go out to the sides. This is a little more of a pec push-up. So back in your all fours position. Again, my hips aren't going to go back in space. Lifted in between my shoulder blades. Neck is long. Here we go. I dip down and press up. 2 and up. 3 and up. 4. Breathing. 5. 3 more. 6. Shake your head around if you have to. Stay out of that neck. Last one. And up. Beautiful. Sit back again. Roll your wrists around. Shake them out. Okay, we're going to give our wrists a break for a sec while we do your forearm leg lifts. So again, this is about the dissociating our hip from our pelvis, right? So you're kind of in that all fours position, but then you come down onto your forearms. You're lifted in between your shoulder blades, so I'm not sinking down, right? I stay lifted. Belly pulls in. Let's take that left leg straight out. Straight leg. You're going to tap that left toe to the ground and then lift. Squeeze that glute. Lower and lift. I'm not moving my back, so I'm not rounding my back. My back stays completely stable. Lowering and lifting, squeezing that glute. And lift. Lower, lift. Belly stays engaged. Stay lifted in between your shoulder blades. 3, 2, 1. Good. Keep it up there. Then you're going to bend that leg 90 degrees. Little pulse to squeeze that glute for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Come back down. Lift it in between your shoulder blades. We're going to do the other side. Here we go. Take that right leg straight out. You're going to tap that toe to the floor and then squeeze your glute lift. Lower and lift. 3 and lift. 4. Belly stays engaged. I'm not arching my back. I'm not changing the shape of my back. It stays stable. 5 and lift. Stay lifted in between your shoulder blades. And lift. 2 more. And lift. Last one. Lift. Hold up here. Bend that leg 90 degrees. Here we go. Up towards the ceiling. Pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Come down. Sit back again. Child's pose. Our last thing here, we're going to do our planks. So we're going to do, let's do 4 planks. And in between each one, you can rest in whatever position you want. You can either go back into child's pose, you can go into a down dog, whatever you feel like you need. You can lay down on your belly. We're just going to do some resting in between each one. Also, you can switch it up from a forearm plank into on your hands. It works different muscles a little bit differently, so up to you. I'm going to do 2 and 2. So here we are in your all fours position. You're lifted in between your shoulder blades, belly's engaged. You're going to step one leg out and then the other. Find your plank position. You can always modify this if you need to. You can come down onto your knees. No matter what, you're staying lifted in between your shoulder blades. That belly's pulling up and in. Maybe you shake your head around. Stay out of your neck. You're listening to your body. Staying engaged, staying lifted. 3, 2, 1. Find a rest position, whether you go into a down dog, sit back in child's pose. Lay yourself all the way down on your belly, whatever you need to do for a second. Inhaling, exhale, here we go, back out into your plank. I'm gonna lower down and alternate forearm plank. Holding here, same things, lifted in between your shoulder blades. Belly, belly, belly. Lifting up away from the floor. Check in with your neck. Maybe you shake it around a little bit. Breathing. 3, 2, 1. Good. Find your rest position. Maybe it's child's pose. Maybe it's a down dog. Breathe. We've got 2 more. I'm going to go back to my full up on my hands plank. Here we go. Find your way back out. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Press up in between your shoulder blades. Belly's engaged. Breathing. Shake your head around. Stay out of your neck. 4, 3, 2, 1. Find your last rest position. Good, here we go. Last one. Inhale, exhale, out you go. I'm gonna do one more forearm plank. Find that strong plank. Press up in between your shoulder blades. This is where you listen to your body. If you're all done, you sit back in child's pose. If you feel like you can push yourself a little bit, do so, but really listen to your body. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Let's do a child's pose all together. You're going to sit back. And then we're going to walk both hands off to the right, dropping your left sit bone down and away. It's really stretching out through that whole left side. I like to sort of traction this left arm into the floor a little bit, kind of pull into it so you're really pulling into your lats. Breathing. A couple more breaths here. And then you're going to walk those arms off to the left. Drop your right sit bone down and away. Breathing into that rib cage on the right, all into your side. Couple more breaths. And you're going to walk your hands back to the center. You're going to slowly stack your spine back up, rounding. Bring Bring those arms behind your back, opening up through your chest. And just let go, roll your shoulders. Let's just do a little bit of range of motion of our neck for a second. You're gonna drop one ear to a shoulder, just pick a side, and then the other. And then maybe a little bit of rotation, come back to neutral, looking over one shoulder. And then the other way. Lovely. Now we're gonna come up to standing. I'm gonna do some balance work. So you're gonna come up to standing at the end of your mat. Toes pointed straight ahead. We're gonna step out with this right leg. So you keep that left toe pointed straight ahead. A bit of balance work already. So depending on how we want to get a stretch through this back calf right now. So you're kind of bending into this front leg, getting a nice calf stretch. So depending on how tight this is, you may not have to step very far, right? You can keep your foam roller near you or a wall or something if you need a little bit of help balance-wise. But ideally, you don't hold on to anything so you can get a little bit of balance work happening. Just breathing, you're reaching that back heel towards the floor, just getting a nice little stretch for a second. Belly's engaged, so don't sink into your low back, right? So keep a little bit of tone in your abdominals. So let's go ahead and press through this back toe, lifting your back heel, and then you're gonna lower into your half lunge here. So adjust yourself if you need to. I had to scoot my front leg forward a little bit. Ideally, you come to a place where both knees are about 90 degrees. Watch this front knee. Center of your kneecap should be lined up over your second toe. A lot of times this knee wants to collapse in. Sternum is lifted. Chest tall, tall through the crown of your head. Breathing. Go ahead and press back up. Drop that back heel again. Stretching. We're going to do one more of those with a little bit of pulsing. So here we go. Press through that back toe, dropping your back knee. Finding that nice lunge position, belly pulling up and in. Tall through the crown of your head. Here we go. We're going to add some little pulses up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, press back up. Last time, drop that back heel. Stretching for a second. So I want you to envision this back line, right? So through your leg up into your torso, we're gonna try to keep this line super straight as we shift into this next position. So bring your front foot back towards you a little bit. And then you're gonna keep that front leg bent slightly. You're gonna shift your weight onto your right leg. Here's this line. Keep your left glute squeezing. You're gonna transfer your weight and come into this little sort of modified warrior position. I call it airplane. So I'm squeezing this glute, trying to keep lifted. I'm keeping my chest lifted. We're just balancing on this right leg. Breathing. And you can play with the bend of this right leg, right? You can be a little straighter, a little more bent, whatever feels a little more doable. Chest is open. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Come up. Hips. Shake it out. Back to the back. Other side. So here we go. Now you're going to step out with that left leg. Right heel stays pressing down into the floor. Stretching. You can lean into this front knee a little bit to increase the stretch. Belly's engaged. You're gonna press through that back toe, lifting up, dropping into your lunge. Adjust a little bit if you need to. Ideally, you're about 90 degrees. Watch that front knee. Center of it stays lined up over your second toe. Chest is lifted. Belly's pulled in. One more breath. Press back up straight, drop that back heel again. You're gonna go back into that little bit of a stretch. Good, second one, here we go. Press into that back toe, drop that back knee. Whoa. Good, here we go. Little pulses up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back up, drop that back heel. One last time, little stretch into that calf. And then you're gonna bring that front foot backwards a little bit, maybe one big step, right? Front knee stays bent. Watch that back line. We're gonna try to keep that back line. Transfer your weight into that left leg. Float the right one up. Squeeze that glute. Keep straight in that back part of your body. You're just balancing on that left leg. Chest stays lifted. So don't let your upper body collapse. You really work all these extensors of your back. Glute squeezing. Breathing. Working on that balance. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, come down. Whew. Shake it out. Maybe grab a little sip of water, and then we're going to meet back down on the mat on your right side. All right. So you're going to come down on your right side. You'd be lined up straight, but then you're going to bring your legs forward about 30 degrees. If you have a regular normal size mat, it's about the front corner of that mat. Bottom toe gently pressing down into the floor. So you're a little bit engaged. I want you to think about trying to lift your waist away from the floor on the bottom, lengthening this top hip. You can have your hand planted for balance, or you can kind of come up here as a little bit more challenging if you want a little more instability. You're gonna lift your top leg so your ankle's even with your hip. We're gonna kick to the front, little pulse to the back, little pulse. Kick, kick, and back. As you're doing this, you're trying not to let your torso move at all. So it's just my leg. Again, it's that dissociating your hip from your pelvis. Kick, kick, and back. And back. 3, and back. 2, and back. Last one. Kick, kick, and back. Good. Lined up with your bottom leg. We're going to lower and lift. Up and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take that top leg back so it's in line with your body. Up and down here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Back by your bottom like small circles. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. And then you're going to straighten yourself out in a nice straight line. Now the top hand is definitely on the floor in front of you for balance. Belly's engaged. You're going to lift your top leg. Keep it up there. You're going to bring the bottom one up to meet it, squeezing. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it up there. Little kicks, little flutter kicks. Swimming. 6, 5. Belly. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Whew. Go ahead and roll onto your belly. Relax your head on your hands. Just breathe here for a second. Just going to do a little bit of work through this back. So I want you to imagine that you have a thumbtack underneath your belly button. So you're just going to gently pull that belly up away from the floor. Then you're going to squeeze that right glute. You're going to float your right leg up off the floor. Just a little, doesn't have to go super far. I want you engaging in your glutes. And then you lower back down. Belly pulls in, left leg floats up. Try to keep that leg nice and straight. Just engaging, waking up those glutes. Lower down, one more each side like that. Right leg squeezing, lifting. Belly's gently engaged. And lower back down. And one more on the left. Lifting, holding, and lower. So now we're going to add our upper. So your one hand is stacked, other hand stacked on top of it, and then your forehead is resting on your hands. I want you to imagine there's glue in between each of those layers, so they're all going to stick together. So when we lift, you're going to have your hands attached to your forehead, right? Shoulders stay down away from your ears. Here we go. Belly pulls in. Float that upper body up off the floor. My hands are lifted. They're attached to my forehead. Go ahead and lift those legs up off the floor. And then you're going to start to kick those legs like you're swimming. Flutter kicks. Shoulders stay down away from your ears. If this is too much and you feel like you're in your upper traps, you can always take these arms down by your side. Breathing. Imagine your legs are like matchsticks, so they're super strong, locked out. I want you swimming from your glutes. 3, 2, 1. Come back down, rest. So when you're doing those swimming kicks, you're not floppy. You're not floppy legs at your knees. You try to lock them out and really swim from your glutes. Okay, last one. Hands are stacked on top of each other. And then your forehead, laying on your hands, everything's glued together. Inhaling, exhale, up you go. Belly's pulled in, shoulders down away from your ears. Here we go. Start kicking. Super strong legs. Glutes, belly, lifting. 5, 4, shoulders down. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Press back in child's pose. Take your spine into flexion for a second. Breathing. And you're going to work your way over onto that left side. Have to do our other side leg. So you're in your straight line, but then those legs are forward about 30 degrees. Bottom foot pressing down a little bit into the floor. Bottom waist is lifted. Lengthening that top hip. You can either have your hand on the floor or a little bit more unstable is here on your hip. You're going to lift that top leg, ankles even with your hip. You're going to kick to the front. Little pulse and back. Kick, kick, and back. Try not to move that torso. Stays completely stable. It's like there's a pin in your hip. It's just spinning around this pin. Belly and back. 4, 3 more. 3 and back. 2 and back. 1. Back. Lined up with your bottom leg up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that top leg back in line with your body, up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back by your bottom like small circles. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. You're going to straighten yourself out in a straight line. Hand on the floor in front of you. Top leg is going to lift. Hold it up there. Bottom one comes up to meet it. Squeeze for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it up there. Little flutter kicks. Breathing belly. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Onto your back. Let's do a little figure 4 stretch. Crossing one ankle over the other knee. Bring that knee in towards your chest. You can shift those legs side to side a little bit to really kind of feel into that stretch in your left hip. Breathing. Couple more breaths. And you're going to go ahead and switch sides if you haven't already. Again, you can kind of shift those hips or those legs side to side and kind of feel into where you get the most stretch in that hip. And then just kind of hang here and breathe into it. Good. And let's do just a little bit of rolling. Kind of loosen things up in your legs. Did a lot of hip work. Let's go into an IT band. Pick a side. You can have, if this is intense, you have your top foot on the floor in front of you to take some of the weight off. If you feel okay with this, you straighten those legs out. You want to be able to relax into it. Soften that leg into the roller. Go nice and slow. You're trying to touch base with the whole thing, so at least once or twice. Go all the way down to just above your knee. Don't cross over your knee joint. And then all the way up to your hip. Check in, but then certainly you can hang out where you need to, right? If there's a spot kind of right in the middle that feels like it's really the spot, then you can just kind of hang there. Breathe into it. And it really, really, really is about trying to relax into this. If you can relax your leg a little bit, while it hurts a lot more, it actually, you can cut your time by a lot. So you can do a lot less. Just do about 10 more seconds here. Just do a quick roll out. Then you're going to roll onto your quads. So you're facing the floor. You're just going to get the fronts of those thighs. Same thing from just above your knee up to your hips. And you can start with those toes pointed straight down towards the floor, getting the fronts of your legs. You can always experiment with maybe bending one knee or both. Puts those quads on stretch. And you can also externally rotate heels together, toes apart, so you're getting a little bit more of those inner thighs. And breathing, trying to soften into it. And certainly just paying attention, right? If one side is what needs more attention, then by all means, shift your weight onto that side, be more on that side. I just always encourage people to at least check in with both sides. And then when you're ready, you can certainly shift onto that other IT band. I find that just doing a little bit of rolling at the end of a workout helps you to not be as sore afterwards. Kind of, just changes the tissue a little bit. I think it just helps it not tighten up quite as much. Breathing into it, relaxing that leg. And when you're done with the second side, we'll just do a tiny bit of glutes and then our upper back. Oh. I need more attention later. Okay, you're gonna come to sitting on the roller. Hands are on the floor behind you. Knees are bent. And you're just gonna shift your legs over to one side. So let's go to the left so we're all together. Shifting onto that left butt cheek. You're just sort of rolling. You can go front to back. You can go side to side. You can also add a figure 4 here. So you can take your left ankle, we're on our left glute, left ankle over your right knee. So I find sometimes it's more, like I feel like it needs it more when I do this, add this stretch. Sometimes it's better to have my leg down, so you sort of experiment. And then go ahead through center off to the right, so shifting those legs to the right. Just sort of touching base. You can certainly always come back to anything that feels like it needs it. Again, you can add that figure 4 stretch, right ankle over your left knee. And then we're gonna go from here into our upper back. So you're just gonna come to sitting in front of the roller. You're gonna lean on it right about, I don't know, mid ribs, a little bit lower. Kind of have to play with what feels tolerable here, depending on how stiff you are in this upper back. Feet are on the floor, my butt's on the floor. I'm gonna interlace my hands behind my head. And you're just gonna let yourself extend back over the roller. So just let your chest open up. Big inhale. And if you're really stiff in your upper back, you may not go very far. That's okay. Big inhale. Exhale, rounding back up. And then I lift my butt. I roll the roller a little bit higher. And then go back again. So you're just sort of segmentally checking in with this thoracic spine. Maybe one more. You kind of get to a point where it doesn't really feel like you're going anywhere. And then you can just keep your head supported, lift your butt, and roll up and down through this upper back. Don't go super low on your back, right? Some people want to like go way out here and roll into their low back. It's a little precarious. So just with this one, stick to your upper back. You can certainly add some rotation, some side bending, kind of get under one shoulder blade. Use this as a little bit of a massage for your upper back. And then I like to end coming all the way down and lay on it like a pillow. If it feels like it's going to fly away, you can hold on to it with your hands. And then you just take that head back and forth like you're saying no. And you're rolling out through the back of your neck, those suboccipital muscles. Always be sure and drink plenty of water. Good work, team.